All right, champ. So Dreadhorde Arcanist is a card that doesn't really need too much introduction for people that play non-rotating formats. Very powerful effect. May cast target instant or sorcery with mana value less than or equal to Dreadhorde Arcanist power from your graveyard without paying its mana cost, and then that spell gets exiled. So we've got Considers and Unholy Heats here as cheap things that it can flash back. But then more importantly, we have a variety of ways to give this extra power. Notably, we have Eater of Virtue, which is a cheap equipment that gives +2 attack. And then we've got Mindlink Mech here, which says when this gets crewed for the first time, it becomes a copy of the non-legendary permanent crewing it, except it's a 4/3 flying vehicle. So you can crew Mindlink Mech with Dreadhorde Arcanist, so then you can flash back things like See the Truth, Expressive Iteration, Archmage's Charm, and Prismari Command here, which is pretty sweet. And then we've got Dragon Rage Chandler, which is extra cute because you can crew this into Mindlink Mech, and then Mindlink Mech, yes, is a 6/5 with Darcy if you have Delirium. And these cards being artifacts help us hit Delirium consistently for Darcy and Unholy Heat. I see some people commenting on the total land count in this deck. The thing to keep in mind is that while we are playing only 20 lands, we have Faithless Looting, we have Consider, we have Surveils from Dragon Rage Chandler, we have See the Truth and Expressive Iteration. We have a lot of ways to look at extra cards. This deck, in a lot of ways, is more similar to, say, a Legacy deck in that it's super low curve. So let's go ahead and pop on into some matches with this one and see if this blue-red core can be powerful with these threats. So, hand's a little slow to start with a bunch of Stormcarved Coast, but is what it is. If they're playing mono red or if they've got the black white vehicle package. Oh, just Phoenix. Got it. Yeah, most of the matches you'll play on the historic ladder. I think Phoenix and blue white control make up on average probably, let's make up some large number, 40, 50+% of the matches I play on the arena ladder these days. Hand, Library, Exile. Play this untapped, hold up Spell Pierce. Be able to play this out as a 4/4 next turn. Super happy to snap off the Pierce here. So small sequencing mistake on my part. I should technically let them resolve their Surveil before I pierce their card. There's actually a lot less Jeskai Triome and a lot more straight blue-white in my experience these days. So this dies to Unholy Heat, obviously, but it blocks all of their 3 power flyers, which is nice. You find Hoaglandia decklist. If you're talking about from the last open, you can go to jeffhoagland.com, click Hoaglandia opens, and then there's a video there of the coverage as well as a link to full deck list. You can also find it directly in the description of my YouTube video. My opponent has definitely just made a sequencing decision. That's true. Reach is the sneakiest keyword. Reach is the sneakiest keyword that we ever had. They topped a card, so I'm about to get Unholy Heated. Nope, it's just an iteration. They left it on top. That's terrifying. So this has to be a heat, right? For what it's worth, I see people talking about what should be nerfed in Phoenix, if anything. I actually don't think I'd nerf anything. I think I'd like to see this card banned. I think this card makes this format a significantly worse format. Or you want to nerf it into the ground. It should be like 3 damage, not 6. It should just be a bad bolt variation. Just like the fact that their deck just got to play a 1-mana murder for my 4-drop and their deck is blue-red is completely unacceptable. Yeah, maybe it's fine if it's 2 mana. I don't know. It should probably be 2 mana and less damage. This card is too pushed. Not a fan of Unholy Heat in this format. This is also a card that could be considered for being nerfed in this format. Expressive Iteration is almost assuredly too good. Yeah, red is supposed to be good at killing, not supposed to be good at killing large things, and Unholy Heat does it in a really mana efficient way. Yeah, Modern Horizons 2 was not great from a design perspective. I think they missed the mark on quite a bit. That being said, we've got a bunch of good answers here, so let's get sideboarded, huh? Board out a bunch of our reactive stuff. I'll leave a couple Archmage's Charm in as draw 2s. I think making Archmage's Charm cost 4 mana would probably be a good change as well, but that card also isn't played in the Phoenix deck, so I don't really, that's not relevant to the discussion that we're having, really. CJ Fox, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. Yeah, I'm coming for Darcy. Archmage's Charm might be borderline unplayable at 4 mana. That's fine. I accept. I think it was an incredible mistake to put Unholy Heat and Archmage's Charm into this format to begin with. I think they were cards that just shouldn't have been included in that card drop. Listen, chat, you don't have to sell me on nerfing cards that suck to play against. Divine Purge and Meat Hook are definitely on that list.
Your lunch is served, sir.
Thank you, honey.
Love you.
Now, chat, this is important. I always like to do this when we eat the second half of a sandwich. For those of you that aren't American, You see this sandwich? This is half of this sandwich that I got for dinner last night. Half. America. It is a gondola from Avanti's here in Bloomington. They're huge, chat. Well, yeah, in other less awesome countries where you care about weighing less than 8 million pounds, it probably is a whole sandwich. But here in America, we do things bigger and better, okay? Hand, library, exile. I'd like to Flame Bless Bolt this one, because we have another bolt to clear the Phoenix later. Felt pretty good. 4/4s with reach are busted. I see some people talking about shrines in chat. All I'm going to say about the shrines deck in Historic is I had someone in my Twitter mentions unironically use this descriptor Powerhouse Shrines meta deck. And I promise you, based on the context of their other comments, they weren't being facetious. They were actually complaining about a Shrines deck being too good and being a meta choice. If you've ever thought to yourself, I don't understand why Jeff's so aggressive with blocking people on social media, I would submit that as Exhibit A, just for what it's worth. These are the types of people that are in my mentions. What's going on, Andrew? Fun fact, chat. Andrew there in chat is not only the one you have to thank for this bad Izzet deck we are currently playing today, but he's actually the reason I stream Magic the Gathering here on Twitch. One fateful evening after Friday Night Magic, Andrew suggested, hey, there's a Magic tournament 2 hours south of here. We're going to get in the car and drive down to it. Do you want to go? And the rest is history. What was it? That first SCG Open, I went 1-3-2, if I recall correctly. One win, 3 losses, 2 draws. Lucho, thanks for the entire year of support. Welcome back. Appreciate it.
Let's do this.
He's also the one that suggested we start a Twitch channel too. Before I streamed here on my personal channel. We had a joint channel that him, I, and 2 or 3 other people streamed on for a little bit. I vividly remember it too, Duck Doolittle. I drew round 1 with my opponent being dead on board. If I had a turn 6 of turns, they were going to lose the game, game 3. And then the problem is, once you get into the draw bracket, all the slow people are in the draw bracket, so you're more likely to draw again. Was the problem. Whoa, Stomping Grounds. That doesn't make blue-red mana, opponent. Yeah, in paper Magic tournaments, you draw based on time. So, in competitive tournament Magic for paper, there is a 50-minute shared round clock for the entire match, and then when you hit 0 minutes on that round clock, you have what's it called? A number of turns share. You have 5 turns that the players share between you. So 1 player gets 3 turns and 1 player gets 2 turns. Fun fact though, if one of the players in your match is issued an official slow play warning during the match, you get extra time during the turns. So if your opponent is really playing slowly and you get a judge to give them a warning, they get, you get a little bit extra inside of turns, which is nice. Obi-Wan Kenobi, thank you for the 22 months. Welcome back. That was also one of my very first paper Magic tournaments. That was a big thing, so I definitely didn't play as quickly as I play now. That being said, believe it or not, I had very, very few draws over the years. It was not particularly common for me to draw matches of paper Magic. Sometimes games run that long. Not really. I would estimate as high as 95+% of unintentional draws are people not playing fast enough. Most unintentional draws are people not playing fast enough. I would like this Dragon Rage Chandler, please. Thanks. I think one of my favorite things to do when playing paper Magic is I was always very good at clock management and keeping track of what was going on. And every time my opponent and I would finish a match, a game 1 and that game took more than 20 minutes, I would always make sure to say something along the lines of, "Hey, we took more than a third of the round timer to play this match. If the rest of to play this game, if the rest of the games take this long, we're gonna run out of time. Let's both try and play a little bit faster." And most people are reasonable, and if you said something polite like that, they made an effort to do what needed to be done so your match could be completed. Legacy Miracles player here. Games can end in ways other than draws. Yeah, Legacy Miracles could win the round 101. And that would be a match win for you. So it was a legal play to win 101. Did I play control decks? Yeah, almost exclusively. Playing quickly means that you can play mid-range and control decks. Your rate of play needs to be inversely proportional to the speed at which your deck wins the game. Which is to say, if you play slowly, your deck needs to win quickly. Whereas if you play quickly, your deck can win slowly because you're going to have time. I think I'm going to iterate here, because if we find our equipment, we get to flashback a divination. We get 4 shots at it here. Hand, library, exile. I don't have anything to flashback here, right? Just a heat. Yeah, you should be figuring out what your turn's going to look like while it's not your turn. Is the TLDR. Yeah, Kiki Cord was a deck that played long games a lot of the time. It was a grindy deck. Oh, is there only one creature in there? Sag. I should have played a Stonecoil Serpent for X to 0 there. Nom 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 nom. Hold on 1 second, chat. Hold on. Ha! I knew it. Rada had some really edgy tweets back in the early 2000s, so we can definitely cancel her over that. Get out of here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play the old Stonecoil Serpent for Delirium here. Alright, so we've got Redcap Melees. We are ready for the mono red matchup. We've got a Shadowspear. That's excellent. It's probably a Flame Blessed Bolt matchup too, huh? A lot of things that we can KO with a shock. Oh, we could have commanded to shock them twice. That's a good shout. Is that staying in my deck post board? It might not be. Kind of slow. I think we'll trim around the edges for the last couple. Yeah, Stonecoil Serpent just being a 0-mana discard on occasion is great. Rev Drayan, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. We're not a professional tier 0 shrines player, obviously. That sounds good. I'm gonna have to play a mountain on one, which makes Archmage's Charm pretty good, but a plethora of Flame Blast bolts here means we should survive to get to this later. Oh no! Oh no! I love the people that were half listening to what I just did, talking about people being canceled because of tweets. Chat, I was talking about a magic card that I was Archmage Charming, for those of you that weren't fully paying attention. I think we're just gonna die to this Cinder Vines, chat. I actually just can't interact with it. This card's like really cracked against us, huh? We even have like some useful utility artifacts. That's a pretty commanding position for them to take. All right, Stonecoil, I believe in you. I'll read. Oh, that's brutal. And library. I really needed an untapped red there, chat. Really wanted an untapped red there. Wait, they played the Stomping Ground instead of their creature land? That's so good for us. Alright, we're gaining control of the Soulscar Mage here, right? I think is the play. I'm holding this till our turn because now it deals the damage to both of us because it gives me a prowess trigger. This race. We are truly blessed, chip. Do I want to play this? Because it lets them have a sacrifice target for this. I think the answer is no. So I don't think it actually forces the Cindervines off so much as it just kills us once we get to 2. I think they just like let the Cindervines chill until we get to 2. I think we're basically just like looking for another Stonecoil Serpent, right? Archmage's Charm is not bad. They can already Cindervines to kill the Serpent. That's not true. This is protection from multicolored. My casting consider. They're going to 4 right now. Taking 4, which puts them to 7. I think I don't, right? I think we just decline. We put them to 7, and then we play the Stonecoil out for 5. This card, like, just low-key lines up really well into a ton of this format. Protection from multicolored is just so relevant. This is pretty punishing for, letting that happen. They're just letting this happen? Deal. I guess they want to gain 2. Are they dead? Because my Serpent's trample, right? I guess they're at 9. Mythology, dude. I think we're good either way here. This is gonna put us to 3, and then canceling whatever they draw next turn will put us to 2. Get the knockout next turn. They dead if you meleeed the ooze on attack. I don't have melee, I have Flameless Bolt. You are correct that if this was a Redcap Melee, we would have been able to knock them out this turn. If I Flame Bless, if I Arcanist target the Redcap Melee, they just eat it, right? And then they still live. They gain 1 less life, but they end up at 1. Close game. Really surprised we beat the Cindervines. They just flooded a little bit. But I had like just few enough spells. They needed like 2 more spells, right? They need a spell to get through our charm and then 1 more to finish the game. So a little bit of good variance there for us for sure. I think I played well and made good decisions, but I needed them to flood a little bit in addition to making good decisions to win that. We should build with this card in Alchemy at some point. I think this card is good. I remember looking at this during spoiler season and talking about it being potentially good, then we never did anything with it. I need to write that down. I've got a few other Alchemy decks that I want to try, but at some point, I think that card is good. I want to try it like a mid-range control deck, I think. I can see that, Mike. I just want to call this Mindlink Arcanist, so I can't cut the Mindlink Mechs because I need a YouTube thumbnail. I wouldn't be surprised if it's correct to just like not play them or have them in the sideboard for particular matchups, but today for the content we're playing 3 in the main. Blue-black Ornithopter. Are they Tezzeret vehicles deck, maybe? Ninjutsu! Excuse me? Excuse me? What? Alright, let's do this, and then we'll attack, flashback, consider. Ninja! Yeah, the old Ninja Thopter here. Man, losing my Expressive Iteration here feels real bad. It's kind of my last piece of... Oh! I accept. Maybe I should have cast my spell post-combat so I could have Darcy block Ornithopter. This is every ninja, right? We're being infiltrated, chat. Oh no! The Ornithopter has successfully infiltrated our base of operations. Why didn't I double block the silver? Because I'm stupid, chat. Because my brain is tiny. Tiny and dumb. Actually leave that there, huh? This should definitely be dead. They might have just Fading Hoped it back, but then I would have killed this with the Unholy Heat, so definitely a pretty big mistake there. You may check out your options. It feels like we're stabilizing here despite my mistake. Yeah, so I want this one to resolve first, so I want this one to go on the stack first. So I'm going to flashback Faithless Looting with this one, and we're going to flashback Expressive Iteration with the Mindlink Mech. And I want the extra card in my hand before we loot with the Faithless Looting. And Library Exile. Well, that makes those choices easier. Actually, let's mech first because there's a good chance they're a Spell Pierce deck, right? So I want to lead on this. Oh my gosh, am I about to get knocked out? They have a +1? Holy crap! Well played, about it. Alright, so I definitely lost that because I missed that double block, right? Yeah, if I hit the double block appropriately, we win that pretty easily. So, got punished for my mistake. It happens. We got ninja. It was pretty impressive, to be honest. Tough to be too mad about that. Just bring in all of our Doomblades and make their life miserable. I think we're just on the knock out their first thing plan for sure. Then we get to go consider into iteration, just kind of sculpt our hand here. Oh yeah, that's a good thought, Kyle. If I would have blocked the Ornithopter, like, I don't know how I'm ever supposed to know to play around exactly what they did there. Like, I don't think I play around that in a million years, but knowing what they could have done there, you're correct. If I blocked the Ornithopter, we end up living there. It's a good shout. I think I want the removal spell rather than the threat, so we go hand, library, exile. Could be wrong, though. Sure, lost that game for 2 different reasons, then. I just play a 4/4? What if I just play a 4/4? I'll like die to a fatal push or get fading hoped, but I think I want to just start attacking. I think we just don't want this to hit us, so we just go ahead and pass here. Obviously, if they have double removal, this still hits us, but I gotta try. Little flooded, but we have Faithless Looting to potentially help with that. Fortunately, the Infiltrator does not go down here. To draw another card. And library exile. I think I consider now, because we could hit a 1-drop to play here. I think that's worth keeping. It's close, though. This thing's about to start populating the world. Our draw has been, like, just awkward enough that our opponent is still in this game, but this really seems like a type of matchup that's very hard for my opponent. Like, we messed up twice to lose the first game. Yeah, the end of combat step after damage was happened was used a lot in boomer formats to untap your Knight of the Reliquary with Maze of Ith after combat damage had been dealt, effectively giving it vigilance. Which was something that came up with some frequency. It's gasoline. Butteraff, thanks for the follow. You would know that, you dirty Maverick player. I was a dirty Loam player, thank you very much. Sweep the leg. See, it depends on when you started following me, Klindor. Long before Modern was a format, I actually top 8'd and did well at a bunch of Legacy tournaments with 4-color Loam in Legacy. So there's plenty of people that knew me as Kiki Guy because I played Kiki longer and I made more content for Kiki, but I was definitely a Loam guy to many people before that. Definitely Owl Guy. That's true. We are Owl Guy to many. That is an accurate summation of things. I think we just shock whatever their 2-drop is here. No, 2-drop. That's so good for us. I miss pre-True Name Nemesis Legacy. That was like the beginning of a kind of pivot in design for that format.
No secret is safe from me.
When did I gain the most traction of a streamer? When Paul Cheon went to work for Wizards of the Coast. And library, exile. I keep the 4th land. Would that have given me Delirium, actually? Oh, I wouldn't have. I remember driving my friends around to Targets and Walgreens looking for Commander precons to get true names. Yeah. Yeah, it was tough to get for a little while. That makes me delirious. And library, exile. Knock out you, play a tap land. This is looking more and more like a spell. Alright, we're flooding out here. Could really use a Faithless Looting. Our opponent has been very good at not drawing lands. We've, this is our 2nd game in a row where we've had twice as many lands as them. Pretty unfortunate. Probably dead here. We'd like looting into 2 good spells. Yeah. Good games. Opponent played really well. We shouldn't have thrown away the first game. We made a couple of pretty big mistakes in that one. How long does it take to become a shillionaire if you watch every stream every day? I actually don't know offhand. It's over 1,000 hours of watch time though. I stream about 2,000 hours per year, so a year or a little more is probably accurate. And every time we get another shillionaire, it becomes easier, so becoming shillionaire is already so affordable. That's true. The tier 3 subs do get pay to win channel points a little bit. You know what? I should have shocked in the Steam vents last turn, so I could have Archmage's Charm up this turn. Yeah, tier 3 subs collect channel points at 2x, which is actually something I don't have any control over as a content creator. I can choose how many points things get. I can choose how many points things cost, but I can't adjust the rates at which they're acquired. Peabody, thanks for the 17 months. Welcome back. That's true. Once per month, if you gift one sub or donate some amount of bits, you get a small bump. Man, we are definitely the bad guy, huh, chat? Playing this on red was such an incredible mistake. Working out. It's working out. Wow, this card's really good against us. Alright, I'm gonna consider, because I get like 6 looks to find a blue source. I have to take the untapped blue source here. This lets me consider again. Bowerstein, thanks for the 16 months. Welcome back. All right, they're down to 8. Bye, friend. So, Unholy Heat seems kind of mediocre. We'll swap 2 of those for 2 Spell Pierces. Clicks a bit. Man, chat, I just got a spam email for something related to back pain, and I can't tell if it's just spam or if it's a targeted dig at the fact that I'm over 30 now. Is there a reason that Surveil isn't a consider one? Yeah, generally speaking, they don't bring back set-specific keywords like that, except in master sets like this. Excuse me? Excuse me? In video evidence, I sit in a chair all day. I actually stand for part of the day, thank you very much. Although right now, my current camera setup doesn't let me move my desk up and down, which is a little awkward. Gonna have to get that fixed. I would love a Spell Pierce. You explain why you have Flame Sweep. It's good against small creature decks. We boarded in against ninjas. We boarded in against something else we played against today. There's also a deck list someone sent me, but we're on the copy and paste net deck game plan for this today. Like, I think Flame Sweep's fine in the format, though. In general. So, chat, our opponent, I was about to make a comment about them playing 80 cards, always having their leyline in their opener, but they're actually playing 84 cards and always have their leyline in their opener. Oh, Magic the Gathering. What a low variance game. Just for the extra rubs. No, of course they didn't mulligan, chat. They kept 7 both times in their 84 card post-board deck and railed us with the leyline. Oh yeah, my money's on them playing less than 4 leylines too. Big agree. Would be shocked if they have 4. Chat, I mean, you don't play if you're playing the 84 card deck with leyline, you know you're just gonna have it. You don't need to play 4. You know in your brain. If there is the name of a content creator in the blocked terms list, that usually means they're not a particularly good individual in terms of the quality of person that they are, not the quality of their content. And Library Exile. Good thing our car tramples shit. This is where they have the turn 4 sweeper on curve. Ah, just nightmare, that's fine. Good thing we packed our backup cancel, chat. Well, they're gonna take one of our cancels away here, so we need the backup one. Yogo 2005, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel today. Flicker of Fate. Yep, gotta stop that one. Or attempt to. Library Exile. I mean, to be fair, we're losing to the Leyline Void in the opener in the 84 card deck. Playing a deck that cares about the graveyard in in this format is just kind of asking to get hosed a little bit. As long as Phoenix is one of the best decks in this format, you're just like gonna have this problem with B tier graveyard decks. You're gonna randomly lose to other B and D tier decks because they have graveyard hate and wanted it more than you. Let's try and get one more match in before we swap over to Horizon Forbidden West. Our deck's kind of sweet. It's definitely not particularly good though. And getting hosed by our deck's probably better in best of 1 than it is in best of 3 because of the potential for graveyard hosing. I don't know that I want to play Dead Guy Ale with Lion Sash, but trying red-white mid-range with Lion Sash is on my to-do list at some point. Yeah, our last two opponents, chat, were just like in the 80% in Historic, just like living their best lives playing sweet decks. And things like that are why Historic will always be an incredibly popular format. Just like people playing with cards that exist on Magic Arena that they love casting, that just like, you know, you can't play in other formats because they ain't legal there. Our deck's like a solid B-, C+. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, chat. If your deck is playing Unholy Heat, Expressive Iteration, and Archmage's Charm, so long as you put enough lands in it that can cast Archmage's Charm, you're probably gonna win about half your matches, because those 3 cards are busted. I don't think Darcy's a requirement. Darcy's fine, but she's not as cracked as these other 3 cards. Not nearly as broke as everything else. Alright, we need a red land and a removal spell here, which is kind of a big ask. We missed on the land. We're dead. Alright, all of the shocks and flame sweeps belong to me. I think the midweek Magic Blast from the Past format is really stupid. I think they just need to test a format that's Pioneer cards we have so far on the client and give people a Pioneer close queue on the client. It's very silly to just like create this other thing that's different instead of making it very clear that they're working towards Pioneer as one of their goals still. I think a Pioneer queue of stuff we have so far and making it clear that they're working towards Pioneer would go a long way towards building good faith in the community that they've burned through in recent years. And I think it's very, very silly that they haven't done that. I mean, the remastered set stopped almost assuredly because they needed to invest resources into alchemy and digital stuff, and they don't have the resources to do it all at the same time. right, I'm gonna go play some Horizon Forbidden West. Should have called it quits when we lost to the 84 card Yorion deck. Losing to the 84 card Yorion deck was a here's your sign moment. As far as this deck goes, I don't think this deck is very good. I think it's kind of cute. I think, like I said at the end there, I think it's hard for your deck to be too terrible when you're playing Unholy Heat, Expressive Iteration, and Archmage's Charm, and like what you do past these 3 cards, so long as they're somewhat playable cards, will let you win some matches. But I think the biggest downside / problem with this deck is the problem that a lot of decks have in Historic, which is that you don't ever want to play the second best graveyard deck in a non-rotating format of Magic. The Phoenix deck, being the best deck in this format, makes the graveyard such a hostile, contested zone that playing cards like these in decks that aren't Phoenix means that your deck just gets turned off in a lot of games because people are prepared to beat Phoenix. So, yeah. We'll be back. For those of you that are just interested in Magic stuff, remember my YouTube channel has a ton of great stuff on it. We play 1 Historic and 1 Alchemy deck every single day. We're going to be shifting over to some Horizon Forbidden West for the rest of the stream today, but we'll be back with more Alchemy and Historic tomorrow. A little bit loud, maybe. If you haven't seen Horizon Forbidden West, it's the much awaited sequel of Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn is my #1 favorite